What's up with it, y'all? It's your boy JP, hoping to make your install life a little bit easier. When I'm soldering my wire connections, I use two tools. I usually use my Milwaukee M12 soldering iron and this Burns-O-Matic little mini torch to heat up the heat shrink. But then one of my fellow Facebook followers, he's also an installer, told me that he bought one of these butane micro torches. I got it. Let's try it. I rated 1 through 10. Which came in perfect timing because I actually got a speaker installed that is in desperate need of being replaced. So first thing we want to do is take the old speaker out and then cut away the crimp cap connections. And of course, we're going to hardwire, solder, and heat shrink these connections as well. We want to put our speaker bracket in and make sure that's mounted in so it doesn't move at all. And now that that's secure, let's go ahead and open up this box and see what we're actually working with. The one thing that I do love about this is that it comes with a hard case. Now I'm not one to read the manual because I like to figure stuff out, but for beginners, there's a lot of detailed information inside that manual. And there's a nice little card on the inside letting you know that this is a US company and you can extend your warranty to 2 years if you register the product. Now, when I first pulled this out, I will say there's a day and night difference in the quality of this torch. My other one is extremely light and this one is way more heavy. I didn't know it was because there was a metal tube or if the tank was actually that big. So I want to go ahead and fill it up, and one thing that I realized is that I think that tank is actually extremely large. Usually with the other Burns-O-Matic, in about 3 seconds it would already been filled, but this literally took so long. I thought I was doing something wrong until it actually started spewing out at the bottom, and it made me realize that the tank is actually this big, which is going to extend my installation time in between fill-ups, and I really enjoy that. This mount has some nice little ridges so you can actually pressure fit the butane torch, and you can knock this thing around and it's not going to go anywhere. So for safety, the button has an automatic lock on it, and you have to use that yellow tab on the bottom to twist to the left side before you unlock it. Now, it's not just a switch to where you can go left and right. You are going to have to push forward and then go to the left. But once you get it ignited, you can lock it on the side, which makes it more hands-free, and you can use this lever on the side to go up and down. And when you want to turn it off, just take the lock off, and then that cuts off the flame. Now this thing comes with 7 different tips, and we're going to go over some of those tips. This right here is the catalyst and the heat blower tip. Adding these is really easy. Just screw off the base, drop it in, and as you start to screw it back on, it's going to tighten itself up, and then that's it. So back to the speaker installation, we're going to start by cutting some heat shrink to length and sliding it over the wire so we ain't got to worry about that later on. Then you want to strip the wire back, and then we want to take our speaker wires that came with the speaker and twist those on there. Now, when I'm using my Milwaukee soldering iron, it usually takes about 15 to 18 seconds to heat up. That depends on what size battery, how full the battery is, and all that type of stuff before it actually gets hot enough to where I can put some solder on it and it starts melting. So I want to compare that with the new butane torch, and crazy enough, it's only about a 10-second difference. It definitely took a little bit longer, but the reason I got this is so I can have longer run time with heating up the heat shrink, but the fact that I can use it as a soldering iron is pretty good as well. Now, one thing that I will say, once it got hot enough, it soldered exactly like the M12 soldering iron, so it actually did pretty good in that area. And the kit also came with a little sponge. We put some water on it so we can clean our soldering tip. You want to make sure your tip is clean before you do another job. We're going to keep the head catalyst on and take off our soldering tip with the wrench that is provided inside the kit and put on our hot blower tip. Tighten that up with the wrench, and then we're going to add our deflector. We're going to use this to actually heat up our heat shrink and try it out, and it worked really well. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't never really used a deflector before, but now I can definitely see the reason why you would add this tool on, because while you're heating this up, you don't have to worry about singeing any other parts, whether it be a wire or that plastic that's going to be behind that's going to protect it. Now, since I do a lot of amp racks and I use a lot of Tech Flex braided sleeving, I really wanted to use the hot knife, and once I seen that I had a hot knife tip, I was like, man, I got to see what this looks like. And let me tell you something, it cuts through it like butter. So once it's heated up, that thing cut through so many. Now this right here is just 1/4 inch Tech Flex, and even though it's cutting it kind of smooth, I wanted to get a bundle of them together just to thicken it up a little bit to kind of represent like using 1/2 inch or something like that, and it cut through it just the same. So with that being said, this is really kind of like an all-in-one purchase for me. We can solder with it, we can heat our heat shrink up with it, we can use the hot knife to go through the braided sleeving, which would be all the reasons why I would use it. So thanks for the tip, and if you're in the market for a butane torch, I say you get this one. Till next time, it's your boy JP signing out, telling y'all keep going, keep growing, and have a blessed day. Peace.